Welcome to the Expensive Coins History Channel, your trusted destination for rare coin analysis, historical insights, and up-to-date market evaluations. In today's episode, we explore one of Australia's subtle yet fascinating numismatic enigmas, the 1997 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth II 5-cents coin. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another piece of pocket change, but hidden beneath its copper-nickel exterior lies a story of minting precision, historical relevance, and market intrigue. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned numismatist, this episode will walk you through everything you need to know about this elusive coin, its history, rarity, value trajectory, and current market worth as of 2025. Let's begin by exploring the origins of the Australian 5-cent coin and how the 1997 issue came to attract collector attention across the globe. The Australian 5-cent coin was introduced into circulation in 1966, replacing the pre-decimal threepence coin as part of the country's shift to decimal currency. Struck in copper-nickel and weighing 2.83 grams with a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, this small coin features the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and the echidna, a native Australian animal, on the reverse. Fast forward to 1997, a year that, for most Australians, was economically and politically stable. However, in the world of coinage, it produced a curious variation. A small batch of 5-cent coins appeared to lack the customary mint mark. This anomaly has since captured the attention of collectors both in Australia and internationally. In general, Australian coins carry a mint mark identifying the facility in which they were produced. Most 5-cent coins struck in the 1990s came from the Royal Australian Mint located in Canberra. However, in 1997, some coins entered circulation missing this mint mark entirely. The absence is subtle and easily overlooked by the untrained eye, but for collectors, this detail transforms a common coin into a desirable rarity. Now, to understand why this matters, we need to look at how mint marks function in Australian coinage. Mint marks are small letters, symbols, or sometimes dots placed strategically on a coin to indicate the location of minting. Their absence typically suggests one of two possibilities, either a production error or an intentional trial run. In the case of the 1997 no-mint mark 5-cent coin, it is widely believed that the absence of the mint mark was unintentional, possibly resulting from die wear or misalignment during the minting process, though not confirmed by the Royal Australian Mint. Numismatic evidence and community consensus support the theory that a small number of these error coins escaped into general circulation unnoticed. Over the years, examples of the 1997 no-mint mark 5-cent coin have surfaced sporadically, most often discovered by sharp-eyed collectors or dealers carefully examining bulk coin lots. The scarcity of verified examples adds to their allure. Some numismatists estimate that fewer than 1 in 50,000 of the 1997 5-cent coins bear this minting anomaly, making them an extreme rarity when compared to the tens of millions of standard issues released that year. Let's turn our attention to value. Back in the early 2000s, this coin flew largely under the radar, fetching anywhere from $1 to $5 depending on condition. As awareness grew within the collector community, values began to rise steadily. By 2010, coins in uncirculated condition were commanding prices upwards of $30 to $50 AUD. Fast forward to 2020, and prices spiked again, especially for coins graded and certified by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. Now, in 2025, what is the current market value of the 1997 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin? Let's break it down. Circulated condition. In average circulated condition, the coin can fetch anywhere between $20 and $40 Australian dollars, depending on overall wear and clarity of design. Uncirculated condition. Raw coins that appear uncirculated, with no significant scratches or dulling, are currently valued between $70 and $150 AUD. Graded and certified coins. Professionally graded examples in MS64 or higher have recently sold for $250 to $500 Australian dollars. With premium examples exceeding even $800 at top-tier auctions. It is worth noting that the value of these coins is also affected by market demand, provenance, and certification status. In recent months, several notable sales have further cemented this coin's desirability. In June 2025, a certified MS65 example sold at a Melbourne auction house for $860, setting a new high-water mark for the denomination. Listings on online platforms such as eBay and reputable coin auction sites continue to see strong bidding activity, often exceeding the starting estimates. So, should you be checking your loose change? Absolutely. While the chances of finding one of these elusive coins in general circulation are slim, it is not impossible. Australia's 5-cent coin has a long life in circulation, and older coins from the 1990s still appear in change regularly. The best strategy is to inspect 1997 dated coins carefully, using a magnifying lens or digital microscope, and compare them to known examples of the no mint mark variety. Here are a few quick tips for collectors looking to acquire or evaluate this coin. Know your mint marks. Familiarize yourself with standard mint mark positions on Australian coinage. Authenticate the coin. When in doubt, consult a professional numismatist or have the coin graded by a reputable third-party service. Beware of counterfeits. Due to the coin's rising value, counterfeit examples do exist. Be cautious when purchasing online or from unverified sellers. Condition is key. As always, the value of a coin is greatly influenced by its state of preservation. The 1997 no mint mark Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is a perfect example of how even the smallest coin can carry an outsized story. It reminds us that history, rarity, and a touch of mystery can turn everyday objects into treasures. We are diving deep into the fascinating history, numismatic significance, rarity, and market value of one particular Australian coin that continues to captivate collectors both locally and internationally. We are talking about none other than the 1998 Australian Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin, specifically, the elusive and mysterious version with no visible mint mark. Whether you are a seasoned coin collector or just starting your numismatic journey, this coin has a compelling story you will not want to miss. Stay with us as we explore everything you need to know about this tiny piece of Australian currency that could potentially be worth far more than just its face value. To understand the true value and importance of the 1998 Australian 5-cent coin with no mint mark, we must first take a brief look at its background. The 5-cent coin was introduced into Australian currency circulation in 1966, following the country's transition from the imperial to the decimal system. The coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and an echidna, one of Australia's iconic native animals, on the reverse. By the year 1998, Australia had already established a consistent and efficient coin minting system, with most coins produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. During this period, the Royal Mint did not traditionally include mint marks on circulation coins, which means the absence of a mint mark in 1998 is not in itself unusual. However, the intrigue surrounding the 1998 5-cent coin comes from the combination of its date, features, and certain production characteristics. The obverse of the coin features the third effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Ian Rank-Broadley. This portrait began appearing on Australian coinage in 1998, making the 1998 5-cent coin the first in its denomination to showcase this new design. That, in itself, adds a layer of historical relevance and collectible interest. While the majority of 1998 5-cent coins were produced in standard quantities, there exists a very small subset of coins from this year that have sparked the interest of collectors. These coins, although not marked with a mint identifier, display subtle variations in strike quality, die alignment, and edge detail that suggest either a limited run, trial strike, or a special minting batch. Some collectors and numismatic experts believe that a number of 1,998 5-cent coins may have been struck as test pieces or even experimental dies, possibly intended for internal use at the Royal Australian Mint. These coins, while indistinguishable to the untrained eye, can sometimes be identified by their sharper detail, more pronounced edging, or even minor design anomalies. Moreover, errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, and planchet flaws can all contribute to a coin's uniqueness and potential value. If any of these errors appear on a 1998 5-cent coin, particularly with the first-year rank broadly portrait, collectors are willing to pay a premium. So, how rare is the 1998 no-mint mark Australian 5-cent coin? In terms of overall mintage, the Royal Australian Mint struck approximately 70 million 5-cent coins in 1998. That figure may sound large, but it is important to understand that within this vast production run, only a fraction of coins remain in excellent condition due to circulation wear over the years. Furthermore, coins that were never released into general circulation, such as mint sets or proof sets, often fetch higher prices because of their preserved quality. However, what truly spikes interest in the 1998 5-cent coin is the combination of being a first-year issue for a new queen portrait, its clean design with no mint mark, and the presence of any minting anomalies. Numismatists often refer to this type of coin as a transitional issue, a coin that marks the beginning of a new design era. Transitional issues are typically more sought after by collectors because they represent a historical shift, especially when tied to a reigning monarch like Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign itself spanned multiple generations. Now let's talk about the part that everyone wants to know: the current market value of the 1998 no-mint mark Australian 5-cent coin as of 2025. In circulated condition, a regular 1998 5-cent coin may only be worth face value or slightly more, typically between 5 cents to $1 Australian dollar, depending on its grade and visual appeal. However, if the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, particularly those graded MS 65 and above by reputable grading agencies, its value can climb significantly. As of July 2025, high-grade examples of the 1998 5-cent coin with no mint mark are being listed by collectors and dealers for anywhere between $15 and $40. Coins with verified minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets have been known to sell for upwards of $100, and in rare cases, even more. Additionally, 1998 5-cent coins still sealed within Royal Australian Mint sets or coins that have been professionally graded and encapsulated can command even higher premiums. Proof versions of the coin, struck in higher detail and with mirror-like finishes, are known to sell between $60 and $150 depending on condition and packaging. The most valuable examples tend to be coins with documented provenance, certified grading, and unusual strike characteristics. Auction houses and online marketplaces like eBay and specialized numismatic forums often feature these coins, where bidding competition can drive prices even higher. If you believe you have a 1998 Australian 5-cent coin that may be valuable, here are some professional tips to help determine its potential worth. First, examine the coin under magnification. Look for any unusual features, such as misaligned text, doubled images, or edge irregularities. Pay close attention to the details in Queen Elizabeth's portrait and the echidna design. If you suspect your coin may be uncirculated or has an error, consider submitting it to a certified grading service such as PCGS or NGC for authentication and valuation. Second, never clean your coin. Cleaning can damage the coin's surface and dramatically reduce its value. Instead, store the coin in a protective holder, preferably an acid-free, non-PVC flip or a professional coin slab, to preserve its condition. Lastly, if you are looking to sell or appraise your coin, consider contacting reputable numismatic dealers or attending local coin shows where experienced professionals can evaluate your coin in person. To sum up, while the 1998 no-mint mark Australian Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin might appear ordinary at first glance, it holds hidden value for those who appreciate its historical context, design transition, and the possibility of rare minting anomalies. Whether you already own one or are on the hunt for a pristine example, this coin remains a modest yet fascinating piece of Australian numismatic history. The 1999 no-mint mark Australian Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin. Stay with us as we explore what makes this seemingly ordinary coin so intriguing, and why collectors in 2025 are keeping a close eye on it. The Australian 5-cent coin has been in circulation since 1966, introduced with the decimalisation of Australian currency. The design has remained largely unchanged, featuring the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and the native echidna on the reverse, an iconic and enduring design by Stuart Devlin. The year 1999 is particularly interesting. It was a pre-millennium year, and although millions of 5-cent coins were produced, a peculiar variety emerged, one that has sparked curiosity and debate among numismatists and collectors alike. That we are referring to the elusive 1999 no-mint mark Australian 5-cent coin. Ordinarily, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra produces circulating 5-cent coins, and unlike some other countries, Australia does not typically use visible mint marks on its regular issue coins. So when collectors refer to a no-mint mark 5-cent coin from 1999, they are often pointing to an anomaly in strike, die variation, or an error coin that stands out from the rest. While the 1999 5-cent coin does not have a mint mark by design, some examples have gained attention due to unusual die characteristics, weak strikes, or even double strikes that collectors classify under error coins. Some experts speculate that certain 1999 coins may have been test strikes, or struck from worn or misaligned dies, leading to distinctive features not commonly found in regular issues. So, is the 1999 Australian 5-cent coin rare? In general terms, no. Millions were struck for circulation. But when we isolate coins with unique features such as extreme die wear, off-center strikes, or highly unusual surfaces, the story changes. Collectors have reported finding high-grade examples with peculiar characteristics that seem to be limited to only a small handful of coins in the market. These variants have been fetching impressive prices on numismatic marketplaces and auction platforms. As of 2025, the average circulated 1999 Australian 5-cent coin holds a modest face value. However, coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 and above, are drawing significant attention. If you happen to possess an uncirculated example, or better yet, a coin with an identified error such as a double strike or a die clash, you could be looking at a value ranging anywhere from 10 to 50 Australian dollars. Some exceptional examples, especially those certified by grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, have sold for over 100 Australian dollars, depending on condition and rarity of the error. Circulated and worn condition typically retains face value of 5 cents, extremely fine condition, estimated value around $2 to $5, uncirculated condition, mint state 60 and above typically between $10 and $20, mint state 65 and above, especially with error or unique features, can range from $25 to $100 or more. Certified error coins with documented provenance, often sold at premium prices, sometimes exceeding 150 Australian dollars. Experts in numismatics agree that the true value of the 1999 no-mint mark Australian 5-cent coin lies not in its mintage numbers but in the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. As we progress further into the 2020s, the value of certain niche coins, especially those tied to historical or minting oddities, continues to rise. This means that now, more than ever, collectors are taking a closer look at their spare change and inherited coin collections, hoping to discover a hidden gem. If you believe you may have a valuable 1999 5-cent coin, here are a few tips to determine its potential worth. First, examine it under good lighting and magnification. Look for any unusual features such as doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, or surface irregularities. Second, consider having the coin professionally graded. A coin graded by a trusted authority such as PCGS, NGC, or ANAX can dramatically increase its value and marketability. And finally, monitor the current listings and sales on trusted platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or reputable Australian numismatic dealers to get a sense of the coin's real-world market performance. In summary, while the 1999 Australian 5-cent coin may seem like a common piece of change, there is a growing awareness among collectors that certain varieties and high-grade specimens carry much more value than their face suggests. As we move through 2025, the demand for certified and rare small denomination coins continues to grow. So whether you are an avid collector or simply someone curious about the coins in your pocket, the 1999 No Mint Mark 5-cent coin is definitely worth a second look. The 2006 No Mint Mark Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin. This coin, though tiny in denomination, has made waves in the numismatic community for its rarity, its mysterious origins, and its surprisingly high market value in recent years. So whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, stick around as we break down everything you need to know, from its production history, how the error happened, how to identify it, and most importantly, how much it's worth today in 2025. The Australian 5-cent coin was first introduced into circulation in 1966, the same year Australia adopted decimal currency. This small, nickel-plated copper coin features two iconic designs. On the obverse, or the front side, we have the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank-Broadley. This particular effigy was introduced in 1998 and remained in use for many years. The reverse side showcases the echidna, one of Australia's unique native animals, designed by Stuart Devlin. Now, in standard practice, Australian circulating coins bear no mint mark, as the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra is the primary facility responsible for national coinage. However, mint marks or identifying features are often included on coins struck for collector purposes or those produced in collaboration with private mints like the Perth Mint. So, what exactly makes the 2006 5-cent coin so special? While the majority of 2006 5-cent coins are ordinary and plentiful in circulation, a very limited number of coins emerged that appeared visually different. These specific examples were missing key die characteristics and were struck with what collectors believed to be a foreign or experimental die, possibly originating from the Perth Mint. What makes them truly intriguing is the absence of specific die characteristics seen on standard coins from that year. Though there is no mint mark as such on regular circulating coins, experts noticed slight differences in die polish, field texture, rim definition, and alignment that suggest the coin may not have been struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. Several theories exist. One theory suggests that a small batch of coins was struck at an alternate facility during a period of high demand, or perhaps for internal testing. Another theory posits that a batch of coins with slightly altered dies was accidentally released into circulation. The Australian government and the Royal Australian Mint have never officially confirmed these coins as mint errors or varieties, further fueling collector interest and speculation. Due to the ambiguous origins and the subtle but distinct differences, these 2006 No Mint Mark 5-cent coins are considered extremely scarce. It's estimated that only a few hundred to a few thousand may exist in collectible condition, with far fewer verified as genuine anomalies by professional graders. Collectors highly value this coin due to its mysterious background and scarcity. It stands out as a modern oddity, a coin from the 21st century that rivals vintage coins in terms of intrigue and collectability. This rarity has only increased demand, and as more collectors become aware of it, the supply tightens further, pushing prices even higher. Now let's talk about how to identify this potentially valuable coin. To begin with, you need a 2006 5-cent piece. Then, examine the coin closely under proper lighting or a magnifying glass. Here's what to look for: a noticeably different field texture compared to other 2006 coins, slight variations in rim width and edge definition, differences in the strength and clarity of the Queen's portrait, subtle alignment variations between the obverse and reverse sides. Most importantly, comparisons with standard 2006 coins side by side are essential. If you suspect you have one of these rare variants, it is strongly recommended to submit the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and certification. Let's move on to the part you've all been waiting for. How much is this coin worth in 2025? As of July 2025, recent auction sales and private collector trades have revealed staggering prices for confirmed examples of the 2006 No Mint Mark 5-cent coin, uncirculated or mint state, MS, examples authenticated by PCGS or NGC have sold for anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 Australian dollars, depending on the exact condition and rarity features. Circulated examples in good condition, while harder to confirm without grading, have still fetched several $100s. Particularly when provenance or comparison images are available. A few certified coins have even reached values over $4,000 in high-profile auctions, especially when multiple bidders were involved. It is important to note that the value continues to rise due to ongoing demand, increasing public awareness, and the very limited quantity available in the market. So, is it time to start digging through your change jars and old drawers? Absolutely. The 2006 No Mint Mark 5-cent coin is a perfect example of how modern coins, even those worth just a few cents in face value, can end up being worth thousands of dollars due to production anomalies, collector demand, and the unique mysteries that make numismatics such a fascinating hobby. If you believe you may have one, take the time to verify it carefully. Compare it against standard 2006 coins. Seek a second opinion from trusted collectors or dealers. And if you're confident, consider having it graded, because that tiny coin could turn out to be a big treasure. We're uncovering the story behind the 2009 Australian Queen Elizabeth II 5-cent coin with no visible mint mark. What makes this coin stand out? How rare is it? Why are collectors paying a premium for it in 2025? And most importantly, what could it be worth in today's market? To understand the significance of the 2009 Australian 5-cent coin, we need to look at its place in the broader history of Australian currency. The Australian 5-cent coin was introduced in 1966, replacing the pre-decimal sixpence. Since its inception, it has featured the reigning monarch on the obverse, which for many decades has been Queen Elizabeth II. The reverse has consistently displayed the echidna, a spiny anteater native to Australia. Designed by Stuart Devlin. By 2009, the 5-cent coin had become one of the lowest denomination coins still in circulation. Yet, that year introduced a few quirks that would go unnoticed by many, but not by seasoned collectors. In most cases, Australian coins include a mint mark, especially on special issues or collector's editions, which indicates where the coin was struck, typically the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra or the Perth Mint. However, in 2009, a significant number of 5-cent coins were released without any visible mint mark. The 2009 5-cent coin that lacks a mint mark is not a special commemorative issue, nor was it officially announced as a variety by the Royal Australian Mint. Instead, it appears to be a standard circulation coin, except for one key difference. There is no visible mint mark anywhere on the coin. Now, it's worth noting that many Australian circulation coins are produced without prominent mint marks, and this alone does not necessarily make a coin rare. However, some 2009 5-cent pieces exhibit characteristics that have piqued the interest of collectors, differences in die quality, finish, and alignment that suggest either experimental runs, early die states, or minor minting anomalies. These subtle features have given rise to speculation and close examination within numismatic communities. What's certain is that the 2009 No Mint Mark coin has become increasingly sought after, particularly those in uncirculated or proof-like condition, while the 2009 5-cent coin was produced in large numbers, with over 59 million coins minted that year. Not all were struck with the same precision. And more importantly, not all have survived in pristine condition. As of 2025, it's becoming harder to find high-grade examples in circulation. Many of these coins have been withdrawn, damaged, or worn beyond collectability. The combination of a plain circulation design, the absence of a mint mark, and a growing awareness in the collector market has elevated the coin status among enthusiasts. Collectors are specifically seeking out coins graded by professional services, such as PCGS or NGC, that have been preserved in mint state or higher. In the numismatic world, the scarcity of quality is often more important than the scarcity of quantity, and the 2009 No Mint Mark 5-cent coin in exceptional condition meets this criteria. So, how much is the 2009 No Mint Mark Australian 5-cent coin worth in 2025? For circulated examples, the coin typically sells for between 50 cents and $2, depending on condition. These are everyday coins that have seen use but remain identifiable and collectible. In uncirculated or near mint condition, values jump significantly. Coins graded MS-65 to MS-67 by professional services are commanding between $10 to $35, depending on appeal and demand at the time of sale. Proof-like examples, or coins that exhibit mirror-like surfaces and sharply struck details, can sell for as high as $80 to $120, especially if accompanied by certification. Coins that display die errors, such as doubling, cuds, or off-center strikes, rare but not impossible, can fetch premiums of $200 or more, particularly when authenticated. It is also worth noting that complete year sets from 2009 that include a flawless 5-cent piece without a mint mark are being sold for upwards of $300, especially when sealed in original Royal Australian Mint packaging. If you're interested in collecting or investing in this coin, here are a few tips. Look for luster. The better the condition, the more desirable the coin. Avoid heavily circulated examples unless they are part of a larger lot. Consider grading. Professional third-party grading not only authenticates your coin but also significantly increases its resale value. Avoid cleaning. Never polish or clean coins, as this can ruin their surface and drastically reduce their value. Buy from reputable dealers. When purchasing, make sure you buy from trusted numismatic dealers or auction houses to avoid counterfeits. Keep an eye on trends. The market for low denomination rare coins is rising, especially as more collectors are priced out of higher-end items like gold sovereigns or pre-decimal silver. The 2009 no-mint mark Australian Queen Elizabeth 5-cent coin is a fascinating example of how everyday currency can gain value over time, not because it was made of precious metal, but because of its subtle variations, historical context, and growing interest among collectors. While it may have started as a humble 5-cent piece, in 2025, it's clear that this coin holds far more than face value for those who understand its significance. Have you come across one of these in your change? Or maybe you've had one sitting in a drawer for years? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like. The 1981 no-mint mark Australian Queen Elizabeth II 20 cents coin. This seemingly ordinary piece of currency could be worth much more than 20 cents. In fact, depending on its condition and features, it could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's collector market. We'll walk you through the full history, design, how to spot valuable versions, its rarity, and the most recent 2025 market prices, so make sure you watch until the end. The year 1981 was significant in Australian coinage for several reasons. During this period, Australia was outsourcing part of its coin production to international mints to meet increasing demand. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra was operating at full capacity, so additional coins were minted overseas, particularly in Canada and the United Kingdom. In 1981, the Australian 20 cents coin was struck not only at the Royal Australian Mint, but also at the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint. The key detail here is that none of these coins featured a mint mark, making it initially difficult to distinguish between them. However, small differences in design, die characteristics, and quality control practices of each mint created subtle variants. The obverse of the coin features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold McQuin, which was in use from 1966 to 1984. The reverse displays the iconic platypus, designed by Stuart Devlin, a famed Australian silversmith and coin designer. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While millions of 20-cent coins were produced in 1981, certain subtle minting anomalies and die varieties, especially those without a clear mint mark or having distinctive characteristics, have caught the attention of serious numismatists over the years. Although all standard circulation 1981 Australian 20-cent coins were technically struck without visible mint marks, collectors have coined the term no mint mark coin to describe specific variants, often linked to the London Mint. These London struck coins are believed to show slightly sharper relief on Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, slightly different spacing between the rim and lettering, and other minute but important design elements that distinguish them from their Australian and Canadian counterparts. Some of these variants, especially those from the London Mint, were struck using proof-like dies. That resulted in coins with exceptionally high quality compared to their Australian-made counterparts. Numismatists began identifying certain die characteristics that are unique to these variants. Over time, these coins became highly sought after, especially in uncirculated or mint state condition. The so-called 1981 no mint mark 20-cent coin is not rare in terms of mintage numbers. Over 74 million 20-cent coins were produced that year. However, rarity in the coin world is not always about quantity. It's often about the demand and uniqueness of specific varieties, errors, or origins. What sets certain 1981 coins apart is the die variety and striking quality. Coins identified as being from the Royal Mint in London, for example, have generated significant collector interest due to their superior strike and uniqueness. A few exceptional specimens have even been found in uncirculated rolls or proof-like condition, making them incredibly desirable to collectors. Additionally, any coin showing minting errors such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling can increase its desirability and value exponentially. So, let's get to the question everyone is asking. How much is the 1981 no mint mark Australian 20-cent coin worth in 2025? As of this year, the value varies dramatically depending on the coin's condition, mint origin, and any unique features or die characteristics. Circulated condition: for coins that have been in general circulation and show typical wear, the value is modest, usually between 1 to 3 Australian dollars. These are common and mostly hold sentimental or basic collector value. High-grade/uncirculated condition: if you have an uncirculated coin or one with very minimal signs of handling, especially one that can be attributed to the London Mint, the value jumps significantly. These coins in mint state grades such as MS64 or higher are currently fetching between 100 to 300 Australian dollars. Proof-like or specimen quality coins: now, if you have a specimen grade coin or a proof-like strike, often mistaken as a regular coin due to lack of mint mark, the value can be much higher. Some of these coins have recently sold at auctions for 400 to over 1,200 Australian dollars, depending on eye appeal, luster, and provenance. Error coins: coins from 1981 that exhibit striking errors, such as double die obverse or reverse, clipped planchets, or off-center strikes, can sell for upwards of $1,500 to even $2,500, especially if they are graded and authenticated by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. To ensure your 1981 no mint mark 20-cent coin is legitimate and potentially valuable, it's crucial to examine the following: luster and surface quality. Uncirculated coins will have full mint luster with minimal contact marks. Strike sharpness: look closely at Queen Elizabeth's tiara and the platypus for sharpness. London Mint strikes tend to have clearer detail. Die characteristics: slight variations in rim thickness, spacing, and font can help attribute the mint of origin. Third-party grading: if you suspect you have a high-value coin, consider sending it to a third-party grading service. This not only authenticates the coin but can also significantly boost its market value. The collector market in 2025 has remained strong, with Australian decimal coins gaining more international attention. Digital marketplaces such as eBay, heritage auctions, and Australian-based coin forums are seeing rising prices and active bidding on rare and high-grade coins from the 1980s. Investors and collectors alike are showing increased interest in pre-1990 decimal coinage, particularly those that exhibit unusual characteristics, historical anomalies, or high-quality strikes. Coins like the 1981 no mint mark 20 cents are benefiting from this surge. As the supply of high-grade examples tightens, values are expected to continue rising, especially for coins with verified origins from the London or Canadian mints. So, the humble 1981 Australian 20 cents coin might just be hiding a valuable story in your spare change jar. Whether it's the sharp relief from the London Mint, a unique die variety, or a rare error coin, there is real collector interest in these pieces today. If you're a coin enthusiast, now is the time to check your collection, examine your old coins, and perhaps send a few in for grading. The 1981 no mint mark 20 cents coin is no longer just a piece of history, it's a collectible asset with growing value. The year 2000 Australian 20 cents coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II with no visible mint mark. Is it a rare error coin worth a fortune? What's its history? And most importantly, what is its current market value in 2025? Stick around to the end of the video where we'll break down auction results, expert insights, and tips on how you can spot a genuine no mint mark variety from a common one. To understand the significance of the 2000 no mint mark 20 cents coin, we first need to take a step back and look at the broader context of Australian coinage at the turn of the millennium. The standard Australian 20 cents coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and a platypus design by Stuart Devlin on the reverse. In 2000, the Royal Australian Mint, located in Canberra, continued the tradition of producing circulating coinage for general use. Typically, Australian coins produced by the Royal Australian Mint do not display a mint mark, unless they are struck at other facilities such as the Perth Mint or issued as part of special collector sets. That's why most 20 cents coins from the year 2000 do not have a mint mark, and technically, a no mint mark is the norm rather than the exception. However, the phrase, no mint mark, gained attention within the collecting community due to a very specific and rare variety that was identified around this period. So what makes this 20 cents coin so different? Let's explore. Among the millions of 20 cents coins minted in the year 2000, a very small number of coins were discovered to have striking differences that set them apart. Most notably, these coins featured an extremely high level of die detail on the obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, so much so that collectors began suspecting they were struck using proof dies or at a different facility altogether. The theory among numismatists is that a small batch of coins may have accidentally been struck with high-relief obverse dies intended for collector or proof sets, rather than for regular circulation. These dies would have created a more defined and sharply detailed portrait of the Queen, resulting in a visibly different coin despite having no mint mark. This variation was not officially acknowledged at the time, which adds to the mystery and intrigue. It took years for the coin collecting community to identify and classify these pieces, often referring to them as the 2000 high-relief no mint mark 20 cent coin. So how can you tell if your 2000 20 cents coin is one of the rare high-value ones? There are several characteristics to look out for. High-relief obverse. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II will appear sharper and more detailed than the standard version. Focus on the crown, hair curls, and neckline. In particular, the detail around the pearls and tiara will stand out clearly. Date spacing. On the high-relief version, the spacing between the numbers in 2000 is slightly tighter compared to the standard issue. Dentical alignment. On some verified rare examples, the denticles, the tooth-like border along the edge, align differently around the Queen's neckline. It's essential to compare your coin side by side with a confirmed standard version to spot these subtle differences. Alternatively, professional coin graders or dealers can help you authenticate and appraise the coin correctly. Now to the part you've been waiting for. What is this coin worth in 2025? As of mid-2025, the rare high-relief 2000 no mint mark 20 cents coin continues to command impressive prices on the collector market. Here's a breakdown of recent valuations. Circulated condition. If the coin shows signs of wear but still clearly exhibits the high-relief features, you could expect it to fetch between $800 and $1,200 Australian dollars, depending on quality. Uncirculated or about uncirculated. Coins in better condition, showing minimal signs of wear, are currently valued between $1,500 and $2,500 Australian dollars. Graded and slabbed coins, if professionally graded by agencies like PCGS or NGC and rated MS63 or above, auction prices have reached as high as $3,000 to $5,000 Australian dollars, and in rare cases even more. It's important to note that market demand plays a big role. Limited availability, combined with heightened awareness through social media and collector forums, has only increased the interest and perceived value of this coin. If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare coins, you may be wondering, should you sell now or hold on for the future? While prices have steadily climbed over the past 5 years, and 2025 is seeing strong demand, experts are divided. Some believe prices could rise even further as the coin becomes more scarce due to long-term hoarding. Others suggest that now, during a peak in collector interest, might be the optimal time to sell, especially if your coin is in top condition. That if you decide to sell, always go through a reputable auction house or certified dealer. And if you're looking to hold, consider getting your coin professionally graded to maximize its future resale value. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips. Beware of fakes. As with any valuable coin, counterfeits do exist. Always verify authenticity with a trusted source. Use proper storage. If you're holding onto the coin, store it in a cool, dry place using non-reactive holders to avoid damage or toning. Educate yourself. Stay active in collector communities and forums where market trends and new discoveries are often shared first. Thanks for watching. The 2000 No Mint Mark Australian 20 cents coin is a shining example of how a seemingly ordinary piece of change can hold extraordinary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, this coin proves that numismatics is as much about history and mystery as it is about money. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss a rare coin breakdown. If you've got a 2020 cent coin, let us know in the comments. You might be sitting on a hidden treasure. Until next time, happy collecting.